Goals begin as a dream. Then they turn into a plan. The plan becomes an action. Once dedication gets involved, all that's left is the reward. There are 3 roads that lead to the same destination. There are 3 players seeking to achieve one goal. Why do I hunt? It's who I am.
Where do I find the passion? It's in my blood.
How do I keep going? It's what I live for.
We are the wildlifers.
This week on Wildlifers, you're going to get to see me do something I really didn't even know I was going to get to do, but it's something I'm very, very proud of. I get to complete my New Mexico Exotic Slam.
This year, Stephanie got to go out to New Mexico to do a free-range exotic slam, and she just had a remarkable time. It's pretty cool that the United States has imported some of these animals that weren't doing so well in their home ranges, and through hunting, they've been able to pay for a lot of the things that it costs to get these animals in there, and they've flourished in these parts of New Mexico.
We were looking for another hunt to go on, and we had an amazing opportunity with some friends that we hunt with that were offering an aoudad. And I could not wait to go because I love hunting in the area that we're going to be hunting in, and I've never shot an aoudad. I thought it would be so much fun. And of course, we're going to get to throw in a little bit of coyote hunting, so that's always an enticement. And then I got this opportunity from my brother-in-law that he had a tag and he wasn't going to be able to use it, so he gave it to me to go on an Ibex hunt. And then I was like, well, I should just go ahead and fulfill my slam and go after an Oryx. One of my other friends is a great guide and has awesome opportunities for Oryx, so I got to go. Next thing I know, I got to fulfill this, real dream.
Stephanie is a really competitive woman, but she doesn't really have a lot of competition with other people. She has it with herself. And to be able to accomplish that slam, in 1 year and in 3 different hunts and to be successful, I think she felt pretty good about it, and rightfully so, she should have.
Anytime I've ever done anything, whether it be my work or church or working out, I just have a very strong work ethic, and I want to do the best that I can no matter what it is. You can call that a little bit of competitiveness, I guess. I mean, it's not really so much with other people, it's just mainly within myself. I want to challenge myself. I want to prove to myself that I can do the things that these hunts require.
When Steph and I first got together, she hadn't done a whole lot of hunting, but over the last few years, she's really not done anything else. And through that time, she has come just light years forward in her knowledge and her abilities as far as a hunter goes. And I don't know that I've ever seen anybody that's come to love the outdoors and hunting as much as Stephanie has. In the hunting industry, there isn't many things that Stephanie's done that I haven't. So I suspect that she's gonna kind of hold this over my head a little bit, that she's pulled off something that I haven't. But I kind of think that's great too.
So sit back and follow me as we go through New Mexico and I take you on my exotic slam.
Wildlifers is brought to you by Melon Creek Outfitters, raising standards, not fences. Barnes Precision Machine, USA made with unmatched performance. Wise Eye Smart Feeders, feed the guest, zap the pest, shut out the rest. OnX Hunt, where the pavement ends, OnX begins. We are the wildlifers. There is only one thing that stops dreams from coming true. That one thing is a lack of dedication.
We're gonna start this off with my most physically and demanding hunt ever, the Ibex hunt. My brother-in-law had the governor's tag for this Ibex hunt, and he wasn't gonna get to go. Something came up, and he offered it to me, and of course I jumped on the chance. I was like, this is a hunt of a lifetime. This is one opportunity. I'll probably never get to do this again. I don't know if I could have been prepared for that. I've had a month. It's a very steep mountain. It's very soft terrain, so it's hard to walk in. I did the best I could. Well, our first morning, as we were, way off the mountain, not even close to it yet, it seemed like, when we were just spotting and glassing and trying to locate some Ibex to actually get in the right vicinity of them, it was beautiful. To see these little bitty specks of animals on the side of the mountain and notice them in several different places. I had no idea the numbers were that high there, but it was something to see. There's animals are just hanging out on the side of the steep hill. It's pretty cool. We finally see one that we think is really good, and we're gonna go after him, but they're kind of going over the top. So we're having to, go around the mountain and try and get ahead of them and try and get, where we can actually get in vicinity of them. Well, I'm at sea level, as everybody knows. I've said that a couple years now. So when I get in altitude, it's not the easiest thing, but this mountain was like soft dirt and rocks, and it would just give away under your foot. It would just slide. So you really had to dig in, and it would have been better if you had cleats or something. It was so hard to walk up and down, but it was rough and it was steep. It wasn't really high altitudes, but going straight up on an old woman, it wasn't easy. Our guide was like an ant. He could just run across these mountains. It was nothing for him. But me and the cameraman, we'd have to stop, catch our breath, then carry on, go a little bit further and stop. And it wasn't terrain that you could actually get a hold of and step up, and it just would give away. So it's almost like every step you took, you had to take two just to conquer it. It's probably the hardest thing I've done. 20 years ago, I gave birth. I think this is way worse. We are climbing rocks, we are scaling boulders, we are just, going across everything. I felt like a monkey. I was just trying to get across everything, and just when I think I can't go anymore, our guide says, I see him. You want to shoot one? And I'm like, yes, I do. And as soon as he said that, my energy was ready. I was back like it was the first start of the day. I was ready to go. We're having to kind of crawl to position so they don't see us, and we're just kind of easing over to the top of the ridge and get set up, and I get my gun on my pack, and I'm ready. I'm looking through my scope, and they're so far away, it's really hard to pick them out on the mountain. They blend in so well, but when you get dialed in and you see them in your scope, man, what a feeling. By the time we had got set up, got in position, my Ibex lays down, and I sat there what seemed like a week waiting for him to sit up, and he just never didn't. And my guide said it's perfectly legal that you can shoot one while they're bedded, so I'll take my shot.
Good shot.
Got him. I freaking killed an Ibex. I freaking killed an Ibex. I made a perfect shot, 540 yards. After everything we have been through, the whole day, the hiking, the steep terrain, the tough ground, it was just exhausting. But to get in position and make a shot at that distance, which is something I've never done, well, it was just exhilarating. It was exhilarating and exciting and happy and still a little bit exhausted, but it was worth everything we went through. We have another hike ahead of us. It was no joke. Oh my gosh. Getting to the Anna was probably harder than the whole day's hike of actually getting in position. But once I actually got my hands on him and got to see him, wow, it was awesome. This is my first time to ever see an Ibex. Wow. He was just really, really a cool animal. Their horns are amazing. It's just amazing how they curl back and they're so heavy, and their hair, they were just really cool animals. While this was a very demanding hunt, it was just physically hard, it was fun. It was challenging. And anytime I get to challenge myself, man, it makes me feel good. I accomplished, I did it. And to make such a long shot and get to see this really cool animal, well, I did it. And I was really, really proud of myself. Well, this was a really fun hunt. And next up, it's my aoudad hunt, which is pretty tough too.
This segment is brought to you by Barnes Precision Machine, USA made with unmatched performance. There is one simple characteristic that separates good from great, adequate from legendary, and normal from extraordinary. The refusal to fail is all that's ever needed.
Well, like Ibex, aoudad are going to be high up on the mountain because it gives them a height advantage and they can see so far and they can look for predators. I'm hoping that this hunt isn't as tough as the Ibex hunt, but it probably is going to be pretty tough. So we're at the base of the mountain and we're spotting and we're looking for any kind of movement on this mountain that we can find. We're hoping to find an aoudad. We've been glassing for quite a while and we have not seen anything. There's this many eyes on it. We have a lot of people there looking. Half of us are loading in the truck ready to go, and all of a sudden one person goes, "I think I see one." This mountain that they're on, it's pretty tall and it has 2 or 3 tiers on top of it. Where do sheep go? They go to the top. These aoudad are up high, so we have to be really careful that they don't see us. It's easy for them to look down and see any kind of movement and get out of the way. Well, we're a little bit further north, so we are in a little bit higher altitude in New Mexico. It's still steep as, it is just like straight up. We get up to this first plateau and we see the aoudad just around the edge. We're kind of feeding around the edge of that second plateau. And this gives us a little bit of advantage when we can get close enough we get a shot off. I feel like I'm having to get to a position where I can shoot almost straight up. And it was pretty straight up shot. So it's something I've never done again, but I'm getting in position and I'm ready to take the shot.
Get ready when you get a good shot.
Can I do it?
Right behind his shoulder.
I hit him.
Oh, I saw the rock blow up.
I missed him.
I don't know.
When the shot finally presented itself, I shot just over him. Oh, it was so aggravating. I missed. I couldn't believe it. I must have hit a rock because I could see some dust or something, but I didn't hit him. But the most amazing thing is I had a silencer on my gun and I don't think they had a clue where the shot came from. I'm hoping and praying that, I still get another opportunity. So we back around, we go around to the other side of the mountain and we're literally climbing straight up to this last tier, and I'm just hoping that I didn't miss my opportunity. And I peek over and there they are 100 yards away. I was, peeking my head over and I think they could see us a little bit. They didn't know what we were, but I had to actually get my body up there so I could make a shot. And I used the hawk catcher, used the rocks as my gun rest. It was so cool to actually do that. And I'd seen it from so far away when I was at the bottom. And here I am at the very top and I'm using it as a gun rest.
That hit him.
After I shot, he took off. And I was just hoping that it was, a good lethal kill and we would find him dead right there. But as we're walking along trying to locate him, I hear a few rocks, so I know he's got to be right down there. As we peek over, I think he sees us a little bit, so he starts to move a little bit faster, and we had to get set up in position really quick to get my second shot off.
Yeah.
I was so relieved to actually make sure the animal was down, and it was the prettiest time of the day. We were on the top of this big mountain. It's at sunset. Well, it was surreal. It was an amazing moment. And this is why we hunters do this. It's better than anything. When I left for my aoudad hunt, Dan said this was gonna be a tough hunt. Well, he was right, it was a tough hunt. It was fun, and wow, they're just beautiful animals. They're so unique, and this one was just such a warrior. It was just really a great trip.
Between 1969 and 1977, how many Oryx were released on White Sands Missile Range? A, 52, B, 78, C, 110, D, 95. This segment is brought to you by Wise Eye Smart Feeders. Feed the guest, zap the pest, shut out the rest. Between 1969 and 1977, how many Oryx were released on White Sands Missile Range? 95 wild Oryx were brought from the Kalahari Desert in Africa to an experimental range at Red Rock, New Mexico. There is one simple characteristic that separates good from great, adequate from legendary, and normal from extraordinary. The refusal to fail is all that's ever needed.
Well, I feel so fortunate to have two animals down, my Ibex and my Aoudad, both first time to ever do either of these hunts. And now it's time to go get an Oryx. And this is gonna complete my New Mexico exotic slam. They like to be out in the flats, so I know there's not gonna be mountains or no climbing this time, but it is still gonna be really tough because they can see a long ways away. Well, we're headed out the first morning and we're going deeper into the ranch so we can get to where the Oryx hang out. And we start seeing sign and tracks, and then we start seeing them, and wow, there is Oryx everywhere, just huge herds of them. Well, when my guide locates one and says, this is the one we need to go after, I'm excited, of course. I mean, anytime you get to do this, it's just so much fun. But it's not gonna be easy getting to them because they're kind of down in a valley, just a little flat part. So it's gonna be a long walk because we gotta get around them, we gotta go behind a mountain and try and come up in front of them so we can get close enough to get a shot off. Well, while we're walking to them, they're walking away from us. So for every step that we're trying to go, they're getting further and further away, and we're trying to walk in and be far enough away from it they can't see us, and we're having to go around and try and, get ahead of them. And for every step I feel like we're taking, they're moving away from us. We're having to go further and further just to try and catch up. We've glassed some rolling hills that are just beyond them, and if we can get over and use those hills as our cover, I think we can get close enough to them that I think we can get a shot off. So we've been walking forever, it seems like, and we kind of come to a little bit of a plateau. We sneak over here to peek over the edge, and that's when we see them. They're still there, and they're closer than we expected. The Oryx are standing there about 150 yards away, and I've got to crawl and get my shooting sticks in position and get my gun up and get set up without them noticing it, not making too much movement where they get spooked and run off. It took me a second to locate the mature Oryx that we were looking for, and he was just surrounded by other Oryx. I didn't want to shoot two, I didn't want to shoot through something, I didn't want to miss or shoot the wrong ones. We had to take a minute and let them kind of separate and walk apart, where we could shoot the right Oryx. I finally have a good shot, my crosshairs are on him, I'm ready.
I think you got him perfect. If you can, shoot it. Got it again. Good job, Steph.
After my second shot, he disappears. So I'm not real for sure where he's at. We jump up and run that direction, start trying to locate him. So we're looking around there trying to find him, and I'm hoping I made a good shot. And I see him, and there he is. He's just laying down behind a bush, and Wow, they're beautiful animals, just beautiful animals. I love their tails. I mean, he's getting bigger with every step that I take to him. I had no idea these animals were this big. They're just beautiful, very unique animals.
Look what I just did on my birthday. Finished my New Mexico exotic slam. I know, I'm so excited, I got chills.
Stephanie was absolutely elated when she got her Oryx. You know, it wasn't just about that Oryx, although that was a big part of it. The whole goal was to get all 3 of those species. So when it was over, I'm sure it was kind of like a bittersweet moment for her. You know, the quest for them was the most fun, but the satisfaction in knowing that you got it done was also pretty cool too.
I just feel like the luckiest person alive to get to experience this and to do something so special. It's something special, even Dan and Dustin haven't done it.
Each one of those hunts in its own right was very, very difficult, and everything just finally came together. It has to be a huge satisfaction for them. Closed captioning by Vault Aviation, a different kind of whitetail.
It's probably the hardest thing.